Just like bleeding clots, the bonus is here and they're bringing the attack. Time to panic and bursting and
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday night. It is 9 p.m. It is time for Brace for Impact. I am OM Dynamic. Tonight, live action, reaction, and analysis from Chris Parrish, the voice of the Chris Parrish podcast, and myself. Bubba Duke is on the shoot job tonight. Welcome, everybody. Parrish, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for allowing me in. And I guess, we are kicking this off an hour after the show went live. But I mean, we do this when we can do this, right?
Exactly.
And we are starting. I know you and I are having a little bit of issues connecting on this, but we are starting off with a rewind from Turning Point where the rumors of whether or not Santana was showing up or not was running rampage, and he did, and he ended up getting the pinfall victory over on Kazarian on that tag match, and he is now starting off Impact.
Yes, he is, because after that, and I know you and I weren't here last week for Brace for Impact, but something happened at the end of that show. And Kazarian, who was co-holder of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, cashed it in and pinned Mike Santana to become the new TNA World Champion.
Yeah, and I think that was something that shocked just about everyone. I don't think a lot of people expected Santana to, lose the title so quickly, especially this being the very first live Impact since winning the championship. What were your thoughts when you originally saw that?
I was really, really shocked, because really I think that was his first true defense of the TNA championship. And I mean, it really led me to believe that, okay, maybe Mike Santana is going to be making an appearance on Monday in Albany, or last Friday in Albany, or Monday in New York City as part of the Last Time Is Now tournament for John Cena. My personal opinion, though, I mean, good for Kazarian. I know he is one of the sort of the founding fathers of TNA and the X Division. Much like Alex Shelley, I think, though, that this may be his sort of token run into his swan song.
Yeah, potentially. And right now we do have Santana sitting down in a very calmly manner. Kind of right now just saying, I think just talking about the moment of becoming champion.
Right.
And just how much was into him.
That was such a beautiful moment, and he got to share that with his daughter in the ring, which is something that we do see a lot more now, that when these guys who put in this effort get to that mountaintop, they get to bring their kids and their wives into the ring to celebrate.
And the one thing about Santana, like, he just pours his heart and soul into everything he does. So you can only feel for him when it was taken away so quickly.
Right? right? And I know you and I were talking just before the show, and really, like, neither of us are big fans of these quick title changes. I know back when it was, Edge, John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, and Hunter all battling for the title, and we're getting a new champ every 2 weeks. It was too much.
Yeah. Santana is just saying like how amazing, his life has been. And he's like, and life has just, when you're on top, has a way of humbling you really quickly. And he's talking about how, things got dark for him after he lost the TNA World Championship.
Right. And we know that, Santana has had his demons that he has battled, and he has those under control. I hope that this didn't push him to a state of wanting to relapse.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily relapsing, but he is saying that he did let anger and rage take control of him. And that's in the past hasn't always been the best form of decision making in his life. But I think when it comes, if he's able to channel that in TNA, in the ring, that might be his escape.
Right.
As long as that's where it stays.
Yes.
But I know Bubba always talks about mental health on the show and just how important is it. There is somebody who is a great poster child for that, and that is Mike Santana.
100% he is. 100% he is. I mean, you look at the trials and tribulations of his career from his time with LAX and being led by Conan to then he and Ortiz going to AEW, having their fallout, and then Mike Santana going through the stages of recovery and coming back to TNA to truly discover himself and cement himself as a singles competitor.
And he's now finally addressing Frankie Kazarian, the man who did cash in that opportunity and pinned him for that championship. But let's not forget how he won it. And that's because of the match between Ryan Nemeth and Mike Santana got cut short with the invasion of multiple NXT superstars that absolutely beat down both men, that allowed Kazarian to have that opportunity.
Absolutely. And this is something that we've really seen building. I mean, we did have, I don't remember the name. We had that cross-branded show on NXT a few weeks ago.
Showdown,
yes.
And I know that Invasion, they changed it to Showdown.
Yes. And I know that there is potentially another one coming up soon. So you have to wonder, was this just setting the stage? And is this where maybe a guy like Mike Santana really goes and shines?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he goes and takes and unifies the NXT and TNA championships if he gets the championship back by that point.
Yeah. And Mike Santana is now putting all the NXT wrestlers who got involved last week on notice, vying that he's going to take every single one out, one at a time, so he can finally get back what's his, and he's going to make them regret ever stepping foot into a TNA ring.
Okay. I like it. A little bit of extra passion, extra fire under Mike Santana.
Giving everybody a fair warning, and that is what the announcers are saying. So it's, this is, I think, the Mike Santana we all want to see. We all knew that on his chase on becoming champion, that he was focused, laser focused on the task at hand, and maybe a non-focused Mike Santana is where we might want to be concerned with him, but a focused Santana is a dangerous Mike Santana.
Right.
And then we've gotten Santino Marella in the back, and Frankie Kazarian is now getting into his face, and they're now having that conversation. And he's asking for an apology from Carlos Silva, who did not award him the championship like he has been doing as of late to people who win the TNA championship.
Right. And I can understand that.
Now he has met with JDC, who is looking at the TNA World Championship. And what we did know from JDC last week is that he announced that he does plan on retiring in 2026 following Genesis. But right now, it looks like he is focused on maybe perhaps taking a run at the TNA World Championship.
And you know what? Good for him. This is a guy who really we've not seen. He's sort of been that guy that's always just fit into the background. I mean, whether it was his Fandango, Dirty Dango, JDC, he's always just sort of been there. We know, yes, he's announced his retirement, says he's looking to find the new member of the system as well.
Yeah. Now, Frankie Kazarian was trying to run some jokes, mention JDC's wife, and that is where things get a little much of a turn to where JDC flat out says, don't ever bring up my wife, but I want a shot at your championship. So it looks like Eric Young versus JDC is now a match scheduled for tonight, and the winner will get a shot at Frankie Kazarian's TNA championship.
Okay.
So if the winner of this is going for the TNA championship, it looks like Santana is targeting the members of NXT first. So that allows less confusion over the championship.
Right.
And then Danny Luna, Indy Hartwell, Rosemary, and Nyla Grace will be in a knockout 4-way match later tonight.
Okay.
So that is what we have. But since we're at a commercial, why don't we have our commercial? And that is letting everybody know just what is on tap every week here at Turnbuckle Studios.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want your break in podcasting, content creation, potential collaboration, or to help us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be. Go to the host section and meet the team. Chris Parrish, myself, Bubba Duke, Chris Best, and Carl Carafel. Get all of our social media there. Watch our latest weekly episodic shows. Go to turnbucklestudios.org/join. Send us your credentials. Tell us how you can help us or how we can help you. And we can sit down as a collaborative and figure out the best fit. Go to the shop section to go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com to get all your Turnbuckle Affiliation Program merchandise. turnbucklestudios.org, ladies and gentlemen, the hottest site on the internet. Do it, and do it now.
The one thing that you will not find on those weekly calendars, but you will be able to have are PLE patrols, where you can find the next one coming just a little over a week from this Saturday with Survivor Series War Games. So I believe that is the 29th of November.
It is, and then 2 weeks later, we're right back here with Saturday night's main event and John Cena's last match.
Yep. And so you'll be able to check those out on the Saturdays, and also on I'll do a shameless plug, but obviously on my channels on December 5th, the watch party for NXT Deadline will be happening as well. As commercial has done, and it looks like we're getting that Knockouts 4-way match right now. And
okay, now I know that this is the first of two.
Nyla
Knockouts.
Grace, sorry, not Nyla.
This is the first of two Knockouts 4-way matches tonight.
Yes, and from what I'm understanding, the winners face each other.
I believe so, with the winner of that match challenging for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Yes, and we will let everybody know that both OM Dynamic and myself are aware of the spoilers, but if there's people in here who have not found those out yet, please refrain from saying anything in the chat, because let's let everybody enjoy wrestling the way they would like to. I think that is a very important message we'd like to ensure our fans.
Yes. We are a spoiler-free zone.
It's why we will sometimes start a show a little bit later than normal. We will try to be more honest with the times that we currently do, opposed to, always, changing things. This goes for a lot of those European shows that really mess everyone up.
Yes.
And now we have Danny Luna in the ring, and I'm going to say this. I was more than impressed with Danny Luna when TNA rolled to Edmonton and we saw a matchup with her and Jody Threat, and I thought that was one of the better matches of the 2 days. So I really hope TNA has taken notice to what they have with her, and I would love to see her as a Knockouts champion sometime in 2026.
You and me both, and I have been a big fan of Danny Luna since her days with Subculture and working with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Both in ring and as a manager, though we saw her more in a managerial aspect in that scenario. Now we're getting what we know Danny Luna can deliver.
We are now with Rosemary, as they have announced the triple threat NXT, the TNA match with Jordan Grace, Lei Ying Lee, and
Kalani Jordan.
Kalani Jordan. Thank you. I have subtitles on just so you don't get the audio, and I still know what's going on.
Right.
And there's just a lot going at once. But Indy Hartwell now coming down to the ring, making her way in the ring. I do want to just take the time to ask you kind of your thoughts of Indy Hartwell and her entering TNA. How you think she's been using? Are you surprised they haven't gone full Indy Hartwell with the championship?
Because I really am.
They didn't, myself.
I really am surprised. I fully expected that with her past as an NXT champion going to the main WWE roster, that they didn't jump in and go full bore with her. At the same time, I like it because, I'm not a fan of people just getting hot-shotted right to the title.
Yeah. And as this match begins, we see Myla Grace absolutely given it to both Danny Luna and Rosemary and really taken kind of the lead in the offense here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Myla Grace is the more newer to TNA out of the
I believe so, yes.
and just wrestling in general. She may have been there before indie, but very, very newer to wrestling. But it is one fall to the finish in this match. So whoever does get that first pinfall or submission will be the winner. There is no elimination rules to this match.
Right.
Now we have Indy Hartwell and Rosemary kind of in the ring as Indy Hartwell's just taking her turn now to beat up on Rosemary and Myla Grace now. So that's just body slam Myla Grace on a Rosemary.
Yeah, we were doing this when Myla Grace, I believe, made her TNA debut just a few months ago, but we haven't seen a whole lot from her.
Okay, so she is newer to TNA than Indy Hartwell is.
Yes.
Okay. Victoria Crawford, Killer Kelly, Jody Threat, and I missed who the other participant was in the four-way.
I would be surprised if it's not one of the Elegance brand.
Oh, it's Zaya Brookside, actually.
Oh.
Zaya Brookside, Victoria Crawford, Killer Kelly, and Jody Threat.
Okay.
Well, I think one of the, I believe it was Heather last week, had the opportunity, correct?
Might have been Heather. Oh, I don't remember. Because I just saw something. Oh, because yes, at Turning Point, M by Elegance had the title shot.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Turning Point was actually on Sportsnet 360 last night.
Well, that would have been good to know. I would have watched that. Maybe it's still on there. I don't know. But we do have a sleeper hold from Grace to Hartwell right now. You don't see those rest spots very often in fatal four-way matches, but we do have one. And I have to say, like, what I do like about Myla Grace is she does seem to go towards her strengths. She doesn't try to do things she's not comfortable with. She's very poised in her own game, and I think that's a very strong quality.
Absolutely. You've got to work. You have to work to your strengths. It's the same in any sport, right? You have to go to your own strengths, not play to the other teams.
Yeah. But we do know, like in four-way matches or multi-person matches, it's very easy for everything to go every way, and it's very hard to stay off kind of your path. So it's very interesting to kind of see how poised she still is in a match like this. Now, it does seem like Rosemary right now, Rosemary is kind of just waiting on the outside as she has tripped up Indy Hartwell, and Danny Luna has tripped up Myla Grace now.
Okay. So we are starting to see those alliances form in this match.
And it kind of seems like it's old guard meets new guard with Danny Luna and Rosemary, who kind of are the veterans, I guess, in this match when it comes to TNA.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to pose this question. With Rosemary kind of the way she is, would you be intrigued with maybe a partnership with herself, Kairi Sane, and Asuka?
I'm going to say no, not with those two. But I would say with Rosemary as she is, put her with Nikki Cross.
What I get out of Rosemary, she's not as dark as the Nikki Cross character, but there is that. I don't want to say ego, but there is that confidence that you get from Rosemary that I think is very different.
Right. And I know I'm going back to the days of the Death Dolls and even prior to that when she was with James Mitchell, Havoc, and I mean even Crazy Steve and Abyss with Decay.
Yeah.
So, to really watch how much Rosemary has grown throughout her tenure in TNA and where she is now from where she was then, I really enjoy it. But I think that to go back, she can add that composure to a Nikki Cross while still maintaining that element.
Yeah, and right before we went to commercial, we had Rosemary with Indy Hartwell in one corner where she was actually biting Indy Hartwell, and then Danny Luna was just putting a nice little chin lock over on Myla Grace in the other corner. So the action was quite divided, which is very different in a fatal four-way match. Or
it really is, because you're looking and normally you've got one person in there trying to break two up and the other one trying to get in there and cause more havoc. So that's one of the things that I've really grown to appreciate. And it's one of the ways wrestling has really transitioned over the last few years is you're getting the psychology and two different stories being told in the same match, and you don't need to have it become that cluster.
Yeah, and it's like what I just appreciate is just the different way of execution when it comes to a four-way match. Like we're so programmed to think it's going to be this or that way, and then all of a sudden TNA comes in and they're like, "Yeah, well, we like to do it this way," and it's just a refreshing thing. And I think that's over time what we've always looked at TNA as, just a different way of doing things, and because of that, they've been able to stay like for as long as they have.
Absolutely. They've always been a little bit different. One of the things that TNA now reminds me of is old school Ring of Honor, where you didn't have anybody controlling the match for a multitude of minutes. You would get that steady back and forth flow, and that's what TNA brings me to now.
Yeah. As we're on another commercial break, let's give off a couple more of our advertisement videos here as we start off with our Help Wanted ad, followed by our shop commercial. So please check these out and let us know what you think.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, videos games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, carlcarafel.redbubble.com for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program merchandise, t-shirts, hats, stickers, travel mugs. If you want a cell phone case or even a pop socket for your phone, You can get it there. All of your proceeds come back into our studios so that we can deliver you a better viewing experience. CarlCarafel.redbubble.com, ladies and gentlemen, the second hottest site on the internet. Do it, and do it now.
We're back from commercial, and in Hartwell tried to get a pinfall on Rosemary, but Danny Luna was very quick to pull her off. Rosemary seems to be the standout in this match so far in my eyes. But that's not really a surprise. She is the most experienced out of the four, so she knows when to strike when the iron's hot and knows when to pick her spots.
She really is. I mean, we are talking about a woman who is a former Knockouts tag champion, a former Knockouts champion, a woman who is challenged for, I believe she's challenged even for the NXT Women's Championship and teamed with Wendy Chu, now working with Evolve Wrestling.
Ooh, a beautiful from Myla Grace on a Rosemary, and now looks like both of them are now taken out momentarily in this match, which leaves us with Indy Hartwell and Danny Luna as they are exchanging right hands and forearms.
Okay. Well, and let's not forget that there is a history between Indy Hartwell and Danny Luna that started in a Knockouts Championship gauntlet where Danny Luna was running it. Indy Hartwell got not a quick pin, but I guess a controversial one, and Danny Luna snapped and went after her with the chair, which actually then caused Indy Hartwell to lose the match to Jody Threat to finish the gauntlet, and did trigger a rivalry between Danny Luna and Jody Threat as well.
Ooh, and speaking of which, Rosemary went to go grab a chain, but was put into the post, and that allowed Danny Luna to pick up the chain and smack Indy Hartwell over the face with it, and that allows her to pick up the 1, 2, 3, and your winner in this four-way knockouts match is Danny Luna. So we were talking about her praises before the match, and it looks like TNA heard, because Danny Luna, who is now collecting said chain, getting her arm raised in victory.
Yes, and a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, it's a controversial decision, but in a four-way, there's no disqualifications, there's no countouts, so she was within her rights, within the rules to do so.
Yeah. We now have Eric Young in the back with two masked men. I believe looks like he still wants to continue with the cleansing, as we know that it was Eric Young who cleansed TNA from Joe Hendry.
Yes, he did. And, Eric Young is another guy, another one of the foundation of TNA. And we know his history and his track record with TNA, a former TNA champion, a comedy wrestler, a serious wrestler. And I think that this is perhaps the best iteration of Eric Young that we have ever seen.
Yeah, and Eric Young right now is letting everybody know that the cleansing will continue, and it starts with JDC tonight, as he plans on defeating JDC to get one step closer to the championship, which allows him to really cleanse TNA.
Right. The only issue I have with this is we just saw him finish off his time with the Northern Armory when he took out the team of Saint and Sinner.
Yeah.
But we'd seen it before with Violent by Design. Going way back, he led World Elite, a member of Team Canada. So he's always despite a tremendous singles career, he's always had that group around him.
I also just want to let you know that Mans Warner versus Matt Cardona is also scheduled for later tonight as well. But yeah, no, back to your point about Eric Young being in groups, and that's true. Like, he always has been, and it's even when he was a part of WWE, being the leader of Sanity, always in that group, but he always seemed to thrive in these groups as well. He broke out when he was a part of Team Canada, and then really was that he also kind of revitalized a little bit in that World Elite, and then later with the Norma Armory, definitely was the leader of that. Looks like he is the leader right now. So it seems like he has always evolved in his placement of these groups over time.
Absolutely, he has. But I mean, if we look at, the Northern Armory, Violent by Design, and his time in WWE with Sanity, they've all been around the same thing. We saw when he lost and was excommunicated from Violent by Design and TNA for a while, how Cody Deaner took the design then and ran with it.
Yeah. And right now we're getting that the TNA Plus advertisement. So yeah, if everybody you want a chance to check out TNA Plus, make sure you do so, because you get a bunch of amazing content there. You can also go to tnamerch.com, or even go to tnawrestling.com, and then that is your access to all of that TNA Plus. But it doesn't feel like Eric Young is very much in a group right now. Just brought in some hitmen or some people to do his dirty work.
Right. But again, could this be that cleansing, or maybe even a culling?
Maybe. It'll be very intriguing to see where this leads, and I think that's always the fun aspect of a good little story and angle that we have, is you just never know. And I will never say with TNA I know where they're going, because they always seem to make you think one way, and then they always hit you where you're not expecting.
TNA produces the Roddy Piper line of, just when you think you have all the answers, I go and change the question.
As we are getting just a little bit of advertisement from TNA about their touring, as we see a lot of the stuff they're doing with Full Sail University. As we all know that when WWE was with Full Sail, we all know what came with that. Obviously, you go to Full Sail University, you could get a lot of work with NXT. Similar thing, I believe, is there. But we are now back with Santino Marella, and he is welcomed with his daughter Ariana Grace, who will be appearing on Impact more regularly than she has been.
Okay. I can get behind that. I just want to see a little bit more of Ariana Grace in ring, as opposed to doing this liaison thing between NXT and A. And that spoiled little rich girl that we saw in the back earlier when she was doing the beauty pageant gimmick.
Yeah, and as that was going on, we were welcomed by the Hardys and the international champion, as they were looking to get a little bit of revenge from last week. And it looks like they're trying to find a way to bring them back. and maybe lure them into TNA. And then that takes us to the entrance of Mance Warner, as Mance Warner is in the ring right now, obviously, with Steph DeLander, as he is about to take on Matt Cardona, who has his own history with Steph DeLander as well, as they were a pairing much of just the last few years on the indie scene.
They absolutely were, and I was really excited when Steph DeLander introduced Mance Warner to TNA. I know I can speak for Bubba. He is not a Mance Warner fan. And despite the fact that I don't pay a whole lot of attention to things like MLW or GCW, I have watched Mance Warner and I love what he actually delivers. I know that this is sort of the first regulated company, I guess, that he has worked for as opposed to MLW and GCW. So it's not just sort of an anything goes.
As right now, Matt Cardona is on his way, and they are not only showcasing with video of not only Matt Cardona returning to WWE under his previous name of Zack Ryder, but also Nick Nemeth and Dolph Ziggler. So they are showing video of that, mentioning their involvement in the Last Time Is Now tournament right now. And then Matt Cardona already getting Mance Warner in place for his broski boot, but Steph DeLander does roll Mance Warner out of the way.
Okay. Now, it is funny because we talked about the history of Steph DeLander and Matt Cardona. And it was funny because Steph DeLander for a long time was coming off as the babyface in a relationship with PCO. And Matt Cardona came out to be, no, you're my property. You belong to me because of everything I've done for you. And how these roles have reversed.
Well, right now this matchup is mainly all Matt Cardona, but we are seeing Steph DeLander get involved as she is tugged on the boot of Zack Ryder as he goes for the Rough Rider. Not sure what he calls it now, but it was met with a sit-out power bomb from Mance Warner.
It is called Radio Silence.
There we go. I knew I heard it before. Which, how ironic is it that it used to be called the Rough Rider, a pun on the name Zack Ryder, only to go to Radio Silence based off his Zack Ryder theme song called Radio.
Exactly.
Not really a lot of Matt Cardona references in that in his movie.
No. No, but I mean, full credit to TNA for doing this. And I know that this is just an extension of the partnership that they have with the WWE and more specifically NXT. And we have seen Matt Cardona appear on NXT recently.
Yeah. Took on Josh Briggs, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Does get a spine buster off on Mance Warner as this match is quite back and forth, but we are seeing Matt Cardona get in some forearms. They're trading some now as they get back to their feet. The good old-fashioned yay boos, as we like to call them. But this leads to a nice little flapjack there by Matt Cardona as he is starting to form a little bit of momentum. As now that face buster coming, and now looks like that broski boot is on the way. As he gets Mance Warner into a corner, hitting him with some shots, and there we go. Drops down to his seated position for that broski boot. I don't know if he calls that any different. You are muted right now.
I haven't heard him use the term broski since he, went to the Indies and to TNA, where he has had more than one run. He's another one, though. Are you surprised that they haven't gone and put the belt on him yet?
From what I understand, he is not officially signed by TNA. He works on more paid by appearances.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily surprised they haven't put a title on him yet. Which he just got hit by a wicked knee, and you know that hit. You saw the head of Matt Cardona bounce off that knee. That did not look good. And now Matt Cardona is really favoring his head there. So I hope he is okay.
Me too.
Because he took that kneecap straight into the temple.
Right. One of the things with TNA, though, is that they have been known to champion guys on per appearance deals.
Oh, Mance Warner's getting a chair, but the referee is taking it away from him. But this just allows him to use the purse. But there we go. Radio silence on to Mance Warner. But Steph DeLander is right there at ringside, allowing Mance Warner's foot to be on the rope and breaking up that pinfall.
So it's the classic distraction to really cost the match.
Yeah.
And this is something that Steph has really gotten a lot better at from her time as, I want to say, Persia Parada.
Yeah, and the purse comes into play with the referee's back turned into that beautiful fallaway DDT that Mance Warner does as he picks up the 1-2-3 on Matt Cardona. But the question is, what is in that purse?
Good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've seen it before throughout wrestling. Usually it could be a loaded brick. It could just be a heavy wallet. It could be anything that's in there.
No, we are now hit with the injury report for TNA presented by BioFlex as we are seeing that amazing invasion done last week by the superstars of NXT.
Yes, and there were some names in that invasion that really caught me by surprise because we haven't seen them in Brooks Jensen, the tag team of High Rise, because we just haven't seen them in so long on NXT TV.
And the one who is out is Elijah. He is currently out as he suffered a setback with that guitar shot onto his injured elbow. And then Matt Hardy is feeling the effects from that, as well as they also said Mike Santana was dealing with stuff, but he is cleared, so there's nothing to worry there. And now we do have Robert Stone along with Stax, Jensen, Charlie Dempsey, and the team known as High Rise.
Okay. Well, yeah, I forgot Charlie Dempsey was there.
So, there's one more. Oh, no, that's just Jensen right there. Oh, and Lexus King. There we go. He was hiding behind Robert Stone.
Now, I'm going to ask, do you like the fact that we have seen cross-branded champions as a result of this partnership?
I mean, I think there's a time and place for it. I thought what Trick Williams did was a fantastic run, to be quite honest. I thought he definitely allowed a little bit more notoriety towards TNA by being champion. I thought he did a great way of taking the title off Joe Hendry, only to have that go towards Mike Santana. And I thought that he was a great person to have in between, because I didn't think you wanted Mike Santana to win it from Joe Hendry.
Right. Yeah, no, you don't want that baby face taking it from a baby face.
But to see JC Jane now, Claudia Jordan both win the Knockouts title, it seems now a little redundant, and I would like to see them kind of focus more on the organic natural champions, because the one thing we never seen yet is we haven't seen anybody from TNA win an NXT championship, and I think that is something I would like to see.
I will correct you on that because we did. Oh, no, sorry, I was wrong because that was where Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance won the Knockouts championship. And I was going to say, I thought she took both.
No,
But
JC Jane actually won both.
Yes.
And then that's when Ash by Elegance defeated JC Jane to bring it back, had to forfeit the title, and then Kalani Jordan won that battle royal.
Right.
And won a match to become champion. But yeah, no, I mean, and that's something that it kind of intrigued with, but the question, I guess, is who would it be? Because I think with Santana right now, like, you definitely would like him to focus on the TNA title. I think Eric Young makes a lot of sense for somebody who could then target the championship once Santana gets it back.
Right.
And then, I don't know, like when you were talking about Cardona earlier, I could have seen Cardona as a viable option. That made a lot of sense there, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I look towards the tag team area. Maybe I do some System versus Dark State.
Right. Which is something we have seen is the System versus Dark State. We saw the Hardys defeat Dark State to hold both sets of titles.
Well, I guess, yeah, the Hardys were champion, but they were very temp champions.
They were.
Um,
And I mean, for me, the Hardys would have been the ideal people to do that before anybody because they've got the WWE history, they've got the TNA history. They could have really transcended this partnership right at the very beginning.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely enjoyed the fact that they used somebody not from the nostalgic aspect and not saying Matt and Jeff are modern because they're on our screens in the current thing, but they do represent a different era. And I think having somebody like Trick, I think it worked very well for him. I definitely think TNA got a lot more steam out of it. I just think it would be nice to see it from the other side as well, but I also understand it from the business side, and seeing more WWE talent onto a TNA would help the ratings for TNA, opposed to, we saw the Joe Hendrys, we saw the ones from TNA, maybe the special ones who would help ratings on the NXT side. So it is showcasing, who has more, I guess, flex, but on this, but at the end of the day, I do think that this is allowing TNA to have just a little bit more muscle when it comes to their shows and the ratings.
Right. And I mean, we're seeing that as we are seeing, TNA closing in on apparently a major TV deal that is to be announced by the end of the year.
Yeah.
That was discussed on Turnbuckle Talk this past Tuesday with Chris Best, Carl Carafel, and myself. I do think that I'd like to see a little more TNA with the NXT titles. Just so that then you can start getting some of these guys, like Ricky Saints coming over and doing cross-promotional work would be absolutely huge for TNA. We've seen Obafemi versus Moose, but that was in an NXT ring. I'd love to see that match take place in TNA.
And Matt Cardona, as you were talking, has challenged Mans Warner to an El Paso street fight. And I don't know if that's next week or when they are in. I did not catch that, as we are getting one of the members of the Great Hands, Mr. John Schuyler, coming down the aisle. All alone, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like a Mance Warner Matt Cardona street fight is on the horizons, as he did cut a passionate promo from the outside of the arena, basically saying Mansfield is like a brother to him and that he is not happy with how things are, but he knows this must end. And this is now escalated. As
Right.
now I believe where you were talking earlier, I believe this is where Myron Reed is now coming down. Yeah, Myron Reed versus John Schuyler, as we're getting a little group on group tease here.
Okay. And we do know that at Turning Point, Myron Reed of the Rascals was involved in an 8-man tag match, and the Rascals got back one of their original members in Wes Lee, aka Desmond Xavier.
Yeah, not Desmond Alexander, as what was advertised by the announcer.
Okay.
Which was really funny. It was corrected by commentary, but yeah, Desmond Xavier. So it'll be very interesting. But yeah, we're getting a little bit more of that, as this is going to be a very intriguing match. John Schuyler, very agile for somebody his size, but when we talk about agility, Myron Reed is maybe a little quicker, maybe a little faster than what Mr. Schuyler is, but we're kind of getting that right now, as we're getting the speed there, but John Schuyler catches him with basically a flatliner into the middle buckle, followed by a beautiful Russian leg sweep for a quick cover, and then now he is just putting fists to face on a Myron Reed, who's just on the canvas right now.
Yeah, John Schuyler is one of those great pound for pound, ground and pound wrestlers when it comes to that physical aspect. And that is one of the things that I truly, truly appreciate about him. For me, it's one of those things that I really want to see is I want to get back to a day where you can see a wrestler come in, dominate a match to the point of ref stoppage. And I'm going to go throw this legendary name out, and that was like a guy like a Ludwig Borga.
Okay.
Who could go in and do that just absolutely dominant performance, and you getting ref stoppage to
I think somebody that could do that, and you're talking about maybe some crossover to NXT, is somebody who just, or from NXT to TNA, somebody that just returned NXT. I would love to see Obafemi cross the lines into the TNA realm and kind of do that, and I think he could be used in that same role. But now, when TNA came to Edmonton, we did get a lot of Schuyler and Hotch, and I'm not gonna lie, I became a quick fan of Mr. Hotch. I think they might have found somebody in him.
Okay. Yeah, Jason Hotch is again, a tremendous competitor, and I am a big fan. I remember watching as Hotch and Skylar came together to become the good hands at first and not the great hands. And that was that type of a moment that, you really enjoy seeing. Where it was, hey, like, it's great to have us around. Why? Because we're a couple of good hands, and let's show them how good we can be as a tag team.
Yeah, we are getting welcomed by someone in the chat here. Just welcome, welcome in here. We appreciate you. We're watching a little bit of TNA Impact here. Myron Reed is in the ring with John Skyler. Fantastic match. So thank you for all of those comments. Very flattering for you.
Yes, we greatly appreciate them. Thank you for coming in and leaving them for us.
But the one thing I think we might get out of this is maybe another one of those kind of gang warfare type matches here, because it didn't seem like a turning point. Things were finished between the Rascals. Oh, we just got some backstage.
The Rascals wrestled the System.
Yeah,
Turning point. But Skylar is a part of Order 4.
Yeah, hold on. There is some development going on, as I think it was Trey Miguel was taken out by Agent Zero backstage.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I was going. I think before Turning Point, we were seeing kind of Order 4 and Rascals kind of starting something. And we know that what I was saying is, like, we didn't see that finalize a Turning Point. Not that it didn't get finalized. That was my mistake there. But it definitely seems like that is the direction for both groups right now.
Okay, and I can get behind that 100%.
Oh, very. Oh, Myron Reed almost undershot at that jump outside of the ring. That was very dangerous. Zach doesn't look like he is hurt. Doesn't seem like he's affecting anything, but oh, there we go. Now we're getting Jason Hotch. There we go. Jason Hotch just got into the match and allowed John Skyler to get a little bit of leverage on that pinfall and pick up the win over Myron Reed. So a very heel-heavy show.
Yes.
As I believe a heel has won every match so far tonight. But we did see both members of the Great Hands make an appearance. We did not see any help from Myron Reed. So I believe I would have to think that is just going to escalate.
Yep, and I'm okay with that because I am a huge fan of Order 4.
No, I am too. Replay here of Leon Slater retaining his X Division championship at Turning Point. We've been seeing a lot of Leon Slater on NXT as that partnership with Javon Evans is blossoming into a little bit of a tag team here, as now we're seeing AJ Francis and Rich Swann outside of an ATM, which I kind of have to laugh at the fact that there's out front of an ATM machine.
Right?
But it does look like Rich Swann could be next in line for that X Division championship.
And I would be okay with that. I think that would be a fantastic match, him versus Leon Slater. And again, I was never a huge Rich Swann guy, but ever since this alignment with AJ Francis and First Class, it's been refreshing to see that what Rich Swann can actually do in terms of his character work.
Leon Slater now has approached AJ Francis and Rich Swann in front of that ATM machine. And I think there was a little bit of a conversation about how what AJ Francis did to BDE at Turning Point. So I'm wondering if it's going to maybe build towards that tag match as well.
I can see it. I can see even a 6-man coming out with Javon Evans and BDE. But who does First Class go out and get for their partner?
That's a good question. Would it be Trick Williams? We have seen Trick Williams over time align himself with First Class. We could see a little bit of dialogue there, but we do know that right now Trick Williams is kind of working in a program over on NXT. So I'm not too sure if that maybe would work, but it is out there.
It is.
We are still to come with Jody Threat, Killer Kelly, Victoria Crawford, and Zaya Brookside in another Knockouts Fatal 4-Way match, as well as Eric Young versus JDC, with the winner getting a TNA Championship match. So that is still to come here on Impact, as another commercial means we got to roll.
Commercial.
Yeah, so once again, let's check out that weekly calendar.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the website for you is turnbucklestudios.org. Go to the host section and meet the team. Chris Parrish, myself, Bubba Duke, Carl Carafel, and Chris Best. Get all of our socials there. Watch our latest weekly episodic shows, especially the Chris Parrish podcast, Sundays at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Locker Room Breakdown Monday nights at 7 p.m. right before the Raw Patrol. Go to the shop section to go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com and get all your Turnbuckle Affiliation Program merchandise. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, hit this join button to send us an email with your credentials. Tell us how you can help us, how we can help you, and then we can sit down as a collaborative and figure out the best fit. Turnbucklestudios.org, ladies and gentlemen, the hottest site on the internet. Do it, and do it now.
And let's not forget, we can always show some love to the main host of Brace for Impact, the one we're helping out, and hopefully he will allow me back sometime down the road. I know you were with him more, but Bubba Duke, the creator of this amazing show. You can follow him on his YouTube at Bubba Duke Show, and then again on Twitch at Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke. And make sure that you are liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff to help the channels grow. You can do that as well as on all the Turnbuckle Studio outlets as well. But it's just a great little way to help out us as creators.
Absolutely. And click the like button on any of our sites. Click the subscribe button and get all notifications for when we go live here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
And the one thing we definitely always want you to do is be active in the chat. If you can want to just be a part of the conversation, we welcome it. Just keep things nice. We allow the jokes here and there, but let's be respectful and let's be considerate to everyone. We're here for a great time, not for an only time. So we just ask for a little bit of a common courtesy, but also bring your party hats because, well, we like to go off the rails just that teeny little bit. Right now we are getting just more of the blast from the past in the sense of checking out what was Bound for Glory and that attendance record. We saw the Hardys versus Team 3D in what was the final time and just the emotional battle that came out of there. As we are looking more towards the next show, which I believe is I know they have a show or do they have another show in December, or is it Genesis as the next one?
Genesis is the next big one, but typically there is a show in December. I just can't remember what it is. So we just had Turning Point.
Is it Final Resolution?
Maybe.
I feel like they probably have said it.
We are seeing the TNA Hall of Fame induction, which was all knockouts this year in Mickie James and the Beautiful People. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's fantastic. One of the things TNA has really done over their years is showcase women's wrestling. And I have said this numerous times that I do feel Mickie James is one of the greatest all time when it comes to women wrestlers, and one of the best duos in TNA were the Beautiful People. So you can't take away not only their contributions to TNA, but to professional wrestling. And it really allowed all three to not only have a bigger impact in the business, but also allowed them to really brace the next generation for what's there to come. We knew that WWE had the Diva era, but then we had the Beautiful People that really, in my eyes, took you from the Diva to the women wrestling and really made that change. Like they were really the right now, not what other people perceived things could be. They were very modern, but then with Mickie James, like over time, she just became champion. She always had amazing rivalries, whether it was with Tara, whether it was, with Jordan Grace. It didn't matter the era. She just always had classics. And I think Mickie James will go down as one of the most influential women's pro wrestlers, possibly of all time, but definitely one of the most decorated TNA women wrestlers of all time.
Oh, absolutely. I know because we are very WWE heavy here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, we really put a lot of significance on that in Evolution as a PLE.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be fair, because TNA did it first when they were doing their one night only on Friday nights, and they had those knockouts shows.
Yes. And just to answer the question. Final resolution coming from El Paso, Texas, from the El Paso County Coliseum on December 5th. So that is the next big pay-per-view show for TNA, and that is most likely what Matt Cardona was challenging Mance Warner to.
Yes. As right now, we are seeing the Elegance brand and the Personal Concierge doing a blind date type of thing. Trying to find the Mr. Elegance.
And I will say, Ash by Elegance, you chose amazing colors for your pants. Chef's kiss.
There you go. That's perhaps the biggest compliment Mr. Parrish will ever give to Ash by Elegance.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. When I had to unfortunately see her kind of take that step back and relinquish the championship, my heartstrings really were there. It sucked to see. I have been definitely one of the biggest challengers of the person named Dana Brooke. Ash by Elegance, though, completely different story. We're okay.
Okay. You know what? Like, I understood where you were coming from with Dana Brooke, though I was a Dana Brooke fan. But to really see her come into her own as Ash by Elegance, even with that not so great a gimmick, but she really came into her own as an in-ring competitor, and she was allowed to be a little more free.
Yeah, I think one of the amazing things TNA allows is just that clean slate for a lot. Not only, as you said, like you're getting a little bit more freedom, but you're getting a little bit more, hey, you have an idea? Okay, let's run with it. Not so much, oh, you have a great idea, but that's not really what we want from you right now, or we're not exactly looking that way. So I think that allowed the artist, that is Ash by Elegance, to kind of just go. And then when we saw that tag team form and then the group form, we just saw the niche. And I think with the confidence, with the experience only building, we saw everything just come together. And that is what was much needed for Ash by Elegance. And I think that's kind of where now we're starting to see just the entertainment value pick up.
Right. As we do see Jody Threat making her way into the ring. We've seen Victoria Crawford accompanied by Tessa Blanchard for this second four-way match.
Yes. And we do know that they're looking to become knockout tag team champions, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Intriguing.
So I think let's keep an eye on the pairing here, because I do think there might be a little bit more emphasis on them.
Right.
And speaking of knockout tag team champions, we do have Killer Kelly entering the ring, as she is a former, I believe, 2-time knockouts tag team champion.
She is. She has always been a favorite of mine. And I'm just like, I was so thrilled when she was able to come back after her pregnancy. And we're getting this same style and that same, that mystique. And really, this is really where I first see what brought Stephanie Vicaire to where she is in watching Killer Kelly.
Yeah. Also, if anybody wants to get interested in watching more TNA, you can go into TNA Plus, and if you want to get 1 month free, just use the promo code FINAL25, as clearly they're helping advertise Final Resolution. But if you use the promo code FINAL25, you can get 1 free month at TNA Plus.
As they are advertising at the bottom of the screen for NXT Gold Rush, again, Lei Ying Lee Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Yeah.
We see Victoria Crawford in the ring, and again, we are familiar with her as the former Alicia Fox.
Yes.
Where do you think she fits now? Like, is she there in more of that mentor and training role, or is this again her trying to revitalize herself?
I think it's her way of revitalizing. She is also somebody that I've had a lot of critique against. Sometimes I think we do see her being a little over the top a lot. I also do not view her as one of the top in-ring workers on most
Right.
brands, but I am intrigued, especially with the pairing of Tessa Blanchard. So I do think it's a revitalization of a career. We have not seen much of her in wrestling for a while until she came back to TNA. But yeah, I think maybe just that small step maybe towards the Knockouts tag title with Tessa Blanchard could really help her kind of find that rhythm back, I guess.
Right. Now, you mentioned this pairing with Tessa Blanchard, and we know of Tessa's past controversies. And is this a way to try and help Tessa show atonement for that, or is this just, or was that just something that was blown out of proportion and she's trying to say, hey, look, guess what? That never actually happened. Those were never my personal feelings.
I can't tell, or I can't say too much about that because I don't know much about what actually went on. I only know what you read, and that's not necessarily the truth. So I'm not going to worry too much about the stuff that I don't know. What I do know is we are getting a pairing, and it could also be a pairing to take Tessa Blanchard from a tag team perspective when maybe there's stuff going on around the Knockouts title, and then allowing her to be involved in a championship or title picture for the time being, because I do see Tessa Blanchard as a future Knockouts champion at some point. I still remember the amazing match that her and Jordan Grace had at the beginning of this year. It was just within the first week of this calendar year. Felt like such a long time ago based on what has happened since, but we know that there is that talent there. So it's just a matter of, I do think you could be onto something when it's perhaps trying to get the performer in the good graces again. But at the same time, I do think that this is saying, okay, we got two talents here that could be better acclimated if we put them together. And regardless of race or ethnicity, I don't think that it really has a bearing on the reason. I think it's just the complementation of both workers being put together.
Okay. Another one I'm going to ask you, and again, past era versus current era, but Victoria Crawford's previous style being that flashy, flamboyant, louder than life outfit to Chelsea Green nowadays, and the way she's comes out to the ring with that sort of gown thing trailing. And is there an influence there for Chelsea from Victoria Crawford?
I think you have to ask Chelsea Green on that one. I don't know. We do know that she loved the Divas era. We all know that Victoria Crawford came from that era, so I'm sure that there might be some things that were inspired. I don't know. I can't say too much about that because I don't have that answer. And yeah, I don't know. I would say shoot your shot and ask her on social media.
All right.
But so far though, in this match is that what we do have a very aggressive Jody Threat in this match. Killer Kelly is definitely someone to keep an eye on as well. The one person that is kind of failing to impress me is Zaire Brookside.
Yeah, for me, she's always sort of been, again, that supporting player. Hasn't really stood out to me. I know Chris Best is a huge fan of hers, but she's always just sort of been that bit player.
And right now, she doesn't seem to be doing very well as she is out. And we do have Tessa Blanchard on commentary for this match.
Yes.
And I will say, this is kind of one of the things that I'm not the biggest proponent of, and that is just extra emphasis on who is the guest commentator and not on the four in the ring. So I'm glad that it wasn't too quick. But as we're kind of getting towards more of the action, I'm going to ask you, who do you have coming out of this match?
Initially, my pick was Killer Kelly. But I'm going to actually go off the board here. We saw Danny Luna win the earlier one. And I am going to take Jody Threat.
Mm. Yeah, that's who I have as well. It's not because I've had alcoholic beverages with her. I do just like watching her.
Yes.
She just brings an energy into the matches that I don't think is matched very often. And also she mixes that in with like an amazing desperation almost that doesn't allow her to make many mistakes.
Right.
And go back to the Impact just a few weeks ago. That was from Edmonton, a match between Danny Luna and Jody Threat. Sign me up for a rematch on that one.
Right. But, I mean, we've also seen Danny Luna and Jody Threat as a tag team known as Spitfire, former Knockouts champions, and they lost a match to the Elegance brand where they then had to split as a tag team. That was back in the summer. So I'm looking at this as maybe now a way of, okay, let's bring Spitfire back in by having them win these two singles matches, especially if this is for a Knockouts tag title shot.
Right now we do have Killer with a chokehold on Jody Threat, but they are now being taken to the top turnbuckle there. And definitely looks like an unfavorable situation for Killer Kelly, who is just seated up on the top rope here.
Yes.
As Jody Threat has now attacked or gone after Victoria Crawford.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
That was not something I had expected. But Zaya Brookside picking up the victory.
I'm not going to lie. She was very quiet for the majority of that match. So the fact that I just allowed her to pick up the pieces and really was Jenny on the spot with being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's almost what you have to do. So credit to Zaya Brookside for, getting that win, picking it up, because you don't have to be the best in the match. You just have to be the one who gets the pin or gets that submission. So definitely a chess game where she called checkmate.
Yeah. Another woman who's been a little bit conspicuous by her absence of late, and that is former Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich.
Yep. Well, we do know that there has been some reports going online of a reason why she's not there. We do know that her contract is coming up, might even be up quite soon, or if not right now. So there's that contract situation as well. She may or may not be signed to TNA Wrestling as of right now. Don't know the details. I don't know the specifics, but that was why, or I think a big reason too, to why maybe we didn't see that, I want to say, push with her during that time where JC Jane won the championship. We didn't. That's kind of when we started seeing less of Masha Slamovich. She was in a match that was slated, I believe it was a couple months ago. That did not come to fruition because I believe it was Masha versus Ash by Elegance, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And then both women were were unable to perform, so that allowed that battle royal to happen. Because if I'm not mistaken, I definitely think like the goal was to have Masha go up against Indy Hartwell. Like that just seemed like that was the direction for the longest time.
Right. So we are getting a promo package now for a new member of the Knockouts division, Jada Stone.
And I believe we saw one last week as well with another woman. So it looks like TNA is definitely trying to, I don't want to say repackage, but bring new blood into the TNA Knockouts division, which I think is always a great thing to do because you just never know when you need the numbers.
Right. I do remember some of these moments that they've shown us through this video from earlier this year. When Tommy Dreamer, Carlos Silva came down and addressed Jada Stone after an exhibition match against another newcomer. And that was when they actually handed both of those newcomers their official TNA Knockouts contracts.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we are going into our main event of the night, JDC versus Eric Young. As we get what could very well be our final commercial, maybe one more. Let's get to our commercials for the final time of the night, going back to our Help Wanted and our online shop. So check these out, and we'll get back to Impact and Brace for Impact after these videos.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
And there you have it once again, ladies and gentlemen, carlcarafel.redbubble.com for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program merchandise needs. Wear what we wear. Get the pop sockets for your phone. Get a phone case. Get a tumbler. Get a t-shirt. Get a hat. All of the proceeds come back into our studios so that we can deliver you a better viewing experience. carlcarafel.redbubble.com, the other hottest site on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, do it, and do it now.
And if by chance you want to wear what I'm wearing, which is an official TNA wrestling hoodie, make sure you go to www.tnamerch.com. That is located on tnawrestling.com. And obviously, since we're following TNA Wrestling, we want to make sure that we help support TNA Wrestling. So if you didn't spend all of the dinero over at carlcarafel.redbubble.com and have a little left over, go to TNA Merch because you won't regret it. And if somebody wants to clip that and send it to them, see if I can get maybe a job, that'd be great.
We'll get the Chris Parrish brown bag specials.
Hey, you just never know.
Those were some fantastic deals back in the day.
I'll do the complete opposite. If you want to get the littlest amount of stuff for a lot of money, come check it out. But speaking of great deals, we got Santino Marella back on our screens as he is making Charlie Dempsey versus Mike Santana official at Final Resolution, and then Tyson DuPont, and I believe that's High Rise, against the Hardys for the tag titles, and then Stax versus, well,
Steve
I'll let
Macklin.
you have one. I'll let you have one. There we go.
And now the hometown man, I just lost it, and Santana versus Robert Stone.
And then we got Tyreek Igwe, Tyson DuPont, Stax, and Les King versus the Hardys, Steve Macklin, and Cedric Alexander. That I believe is slated for next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Said in 2 weeks we're going to get that big tag match.
Well, next week, 2 weeks, man. In the future.
That's right. As they are giving us, and then we're getting, Kalani Jordan versus Danny Luna versus Zaya Brookside for the Knockouts World Championship at Final Resolution.
Yeah. Definitely want to let everybody know that is happening on a Friday night. I know we're all used to Saturdays or Sundays for pay-per-views or the big PLEs, but Friday, December 5th, Final Resolution. Again, if you want to check that out for free, go to TNA Plus and use that Final 25 promo code, and you might just be able to watch Final Resolution for absolutely nothing.
Which is where we are getting that Mance Warner, Matt Cardona, El Paso street fight.
Yeah.
As we have Frankie Kazarian, your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, making his way to the ring.
There is one name we talked about who could be that big, like a big name for TNA. We've seen this name go to a company that started fresh, was a really big name for them to get. He was a huge name for WWE. We saw some teases when he left WWE the first time. Could he go to TNA? What if Chris Jericho was to ever set foot in a TNA ring?
I would love to see it. We know that he actually, back a few years ago when Don Callis was running it alongside Scott D'Amore, Chris Jericho was one of the guys that called and said, put Don in there.
Mm-hmm.
He said he would willingly go and work in a TNA ring. So I could absolutely see it.
I mean, we see a lot of, I think, inspiration from just the wardrobe from Frankie Kazarian or Chris Jericho. Whether it's the outlandish jacket or the scarves.
Right?
I think that's why I brought it up.
And we do know that Kazarian and Jericho have history in AEW. Another guy that I would love to see, and again, another guy who has history with Kazarian make his TNA debut, Scorpio Sky.
He is still contracted to AEW.
He is.
So that might not happen for a while, but You're getting Eric Young coming out. That is definitely a very different look from Eric
Yes.
Young.
Yes, sort of the. Not sure if that's a poncho, a green garbage bag, and a very odd balaclava.
World Class Maniac, if anybody is curious to what WCM stands for. I will say whoever came up with the championship ring idea for the graphic on the screen, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I love it. As JDC is making his way to the ring with the system at the top of the entranceway.
I mean, from a distance, doesn't Eddie Edward kind of like look to you as like maybe the Timo version of Santino?
Yeah.
But knowing that we do have just a few months left of JDC, I do like the fact that some emphasis is being put on him, and maybe just whether it's just a one run and one attempt over at the championship, maybe. But who knows?
Right.
He does have to get through Eric Young first, so we'll see that. But it's also fresh. It's something new with JDC in this picture. So
Absolutely, it is. And I mean, we've seen Eric Young and Kazarian have sort of been at odds with each other, even though they're both heels throughout this year. But JDC, of course, retiring because he is going home to be a family man and a dad.
yeah, and this is not the first time he has toyed around the idea of retiring. In fact, before he even got into the system, there was talks that he might step away from pro wrestling. I believe he even had a farewell tour on the indies that ended up kind of taking longer than expected and then
Yes.
letting into a run. That's just what happens sometimes. I believe he just found the itch again with TNA wrestling. So you can't really fault him for that, but also credit to him for knowing the right time to walk away, because not everybody gets to make that decision.
Right. And I'm going to suggest this because we know that Frankie Kazarian used the Collier Shot Gauntlet, but let's not forget there was another co-holder of that this year in Nick Nemeth.
Yeah, and we did see him last week get attacked as he tried to cash in during that Ryan Nemeth Mike Santana match. We don't know who attacked him.
Okay.
So it's going to be very intriguing to see what happens when he does come back, because last time we saw him, he was, let's just say he was working solo on Monday night.
Yes.
No, that
I'm going to pitch another name that I would be intrigued to see to help lead the Knockouts division in TNA, and that would be Saraya or Paige.
Okay. See, I was hoping you were going to go a different one, because I was thinking if her contract with AEW was to end and not be redone, would a Britt Baker be a great addition to TNA and the Knockouts division?
100% it would.
And what a great babyface to the heel of Tessa Blanchard. And now all of a sudden you got some star power, like serious star power once again.
Absolutely you do. And I mean, like, again, a Saraya Page doesn't have to come in and wrestle full time. She doesn't need the Knockouts championship. but she can come in and just guide them in the ring, out of the ring, do what she was doing with Fire and Desire as more of a manager and a trio thing.
Oh, can you imagine Paige or Soraya with Jody Threat?
Or a Danny Luna?
I think she fits the Jody Threat bill more, to be quite honest. I kind of give you that, Lita-esque vibe.
Yeah.
But I I don't know if I can handle Victoria Crawford and Paige again, because they were way too much back in their days in WWE.
They were. They really were. As we do see Eric Young just putting his boot through JDC's face. You know, it's funny. You look at Eric Young now, and I mean, we've seen it over the last number of years and all of these tattoos, and you go back to his time as a member of Team Canada with the messy blonde hair, white meat, baby face, vanilla, to where he has been now. This is a guy who has truly learned how to evolve his character and evolve in the ring.
Funny story is, but back when I first tried to get into training for wrestling, I reached out to Eric Young. Primetime Eric Young, he was known back then with the spiked blonde hair and all that stuff. And yeah, he it almost became a thing, but sadly timing was an issue, as that's when he kind of started with TNA back in that time. So it didn't really come to fruition, but yeah, what could have been.
Yep.
But yeah, no, you definitely, and like the thing with Eric Young too, it's like he is a former TNA champion. He is a former tag champion. He has, done a lot in the form of TNA with multiple X Division championships in his repertoire. But you looked at, when he went to WWE, was that piece of sanity? That's where we were introduced to the Nikki Crosses to now, all the way back to him almost rejoining WWE and joining the likes of Bray Wyatt in a group that almost came to be. So, yep, we could have had something with Bray back in the day, and now we don't understand that with the things happening there, we wouldn't have got the Northern Armory, wouldn't have seen Saints and Sinners really step into this light. And we could think about what would have been, but then we also think, yeah, but if that happened, would we have not gotten what we have now?
Right. And I don't know that we would have. I mean, really, and I mean, we go back, and this started with Abyss when he was in a tag team, and he's all of a sudden, I'm a mad scientist, and no, Joseph Park, you're Abyss. When Abyss was going through that split personality disorder.
Yeah. But on that same coin though, let's flip sides and let's look at the history of JDC. The man used to be known as Fandango.
Right.
Or one half of the Fashion Police with Tyler Breeze.
Yes.
So we know that he has come a long way as well. The one known as Johnny Curtis back in the day. Then, with multiple things, he defeated Chris Jericho at WrestleMania in his WWE main roster debut.
Yes.
Then became a sensation with his theme song.
Yes. And then as quickly as that came, it went, and then we didn't hear from him for a while. And then he showed up in TNA as Dirty Dango, and hated wrestling. Then he, became Johnny Dango Curtis with John E. Bravo as his security, to now JDC and a member of the system.
And let's not forget the short time he did return to NXT, him and Tyler Breeze did become NXT Tag Team Champions for a brief amount of time.
They did. We did see him return to NXT earlier this year as JDC, as a member of the system. And one of the things that we've seen NXT do is they pay homage to their WWE history. So we got the Fandango music that time. We get the Santino WWE theme when he's on NXT. And that's something. Would you like to see some of these guys, if they come from the WWE over to work a TNA show, if they have history there, them get to use their old theme?
You mean like the Hardys do?
Yes, but the Hardys own their theme.
Well, I don't think the theme actually is owned by anyone. I think anybody can use it.
Right. Yeah, I believe it's public domain.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be nice if you can get that intellectual property, but I understand, because sometimes like you can get it's also a great time for a rebrand once in a while too, especially if like if you were Baron Corbin getting released, now you're Bishop Dyer, and you kind of want something different. I get it. I see both sides to it. So I mean, it would be nice. Like, imagine if Eric Young brought that Sanity music over.
Right?
Don't know if I wanted Matt Cardona to woo woo woo, but
no, I can understand that one.
But I mean, at the same time, we did see it with people going over, like Jordan Grace when she signed with WWE. She kept her theme for a bit. Joe Hendry has kept his theme in WWE. I mean, he does own that song though,
Yes.
so that's a different story. But
even earlier this year at Slammiversary, when AJ Styles made his return to TNA and he came out to Get Ready to Fly.
Yeah, and I think too, you go back to the nostalgia time though, and that's where you get it, and it's why we do see JDC kind of put that time into the other stuff. But right now, with the beautiful Russian leg sweep and a kick, followed by what looks to be a beautiful Falcon Arrow bomb.
Now, I am going to ask could we see JDC do that false retirement that we've seen from like a Mark Henry, from an AJ Styles, to get themselves into that title match? Even though he said, I've got just a couple of months left, could we see that false retirement?
I mean, I would love it if it means him turning on the system. I think that would be like the big angle, but sadly, I just don't know if I see it. Just because over time you've seen a couple of attempts at him not knowing if it was time to stay or not. And I think now that his life seems to have come together the way it does, I think it's a lot easier for him to, just ride off into that sunset.
Yeah. And Eric Young with the elbow drop, Macho Man style, from the top rope.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Eric Young has gone down stairs with a kick to the groin.
Yes,
Hits that
and what a
DVD.
Death Valley driver. But JDC with the kick out.
JDC said, Fandong, no. A good little match that we've had so far. As Eric Young looks like he's getting ready to do the good old fashioned punch. He's locking that fist up right now. Oh, and there it is.
But JDC throwing back, and we are going to this
Shot for shot.
Yeah. Well, JDC looked like he was going to get ready to go to that Dusty Bionic Elbow, but JDC here smartly blocking the pile driver.
Yep. And he's going to the top rope there and placing Eric Young right up on that top turnbuckle. Thought he was going for maybe like an Alabama slam, but no.
So did I.
All the way upstairs. Oh, is he looking for that Falcon Arrow again? Oh. So Eric Young has targeted the Fandango nuts a little bit.
Yes. Oh, and Eric Young taunting Frankie Kazarian.
Well, I mean, the winner of this match does get a title match against Frankie Kazarian. So, making sure that, just a little bit of, hey, just so you know, you and I.
What a back body drop there from Fandango off the top rope.
Oh, and a beautiful leg drop off the top there. 2 and 3.
Wow.
And JDC has picked up the win here.
Yes, he has.
So JDC has now earned himself a title match opportunity against Frankie Kazarian. And this match, I believe, is going to be at Final Resolution.
You would have to think, because we're just a couple of short weeks out from that.
Well, they're showcasing the graphic right now, but they're not showcasing the match graphic, but it seems like it's all but official at this point. JDC versus Frankie Kazarian, TNA World Championship match in the future. Going to be a good one.
It is.
But that concludes our episode here for TNA Impact. So, well, just let us know your thoughts on the episode there.
This was a fantastic episode. Despite the technical issues I was having at the start of the show, this was absolutely fantastic. A great show. And again, they deliver exactly what those initials say. Total nonstop action. I can't even say there was a low point for me in the show tonight.
No, a lot of just bang bang matches, whether it's the 2 knockout fatal 4-ways that we saw where Xia Brookside and Danny Luna picked up the victories. Then you got JDC earning himself a championship opportunity. And then you even got Mance Warner picking up a nice little victory over Matt Cardona with the help of a purse. That only sets up a match at Final Resolution, an El Paso street fight. So a lot of purpose for this week's episode. So I gotta like that very much.
Absolutely.
do want to let everybody know, though, that here at Brace for Impact, we care about your mental health. And if you need any more additional information for mental health, go check out www.988lifelong.org. You can dial 988, or you can even go to findahelpline.org. Those are just a couple areas that you can do to go help yourself, because we all know that mental health is a struggle we all can face. You're not alone, so make sure you do exactly what you need to do and get yourself some help. There is never, ever a time where it's wrong to ask for help.
Not at all, ladies and gentlemen.
And before we go there, we do have some other needs. Whether if you want some professional auto services, go to check out professionalauto.ca. You can go and talk to owner Corey Mount. There, his phone number is there as well. So we got a little bit of auto services needs there. I thought he had another one, but don't know.
No.
But yeah, go ahead.
But ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap things up here, we would like to remind you the world is better with you in it. And from all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Brace for Impact, good night, good luck, we out.
Today is here and it's going down. Bracing silence with a thunderous sound. Bubba, Duke, and O&D call the shots. Bursting action just like bleeding